Inner Mongolia is located in the north of China, with Outer Mongolia and the Soviet Union as its northern neighbors. Inner Mongolia has a population of about 20 million people. About 12% are Mongol. Today, the Mongols are concentrated primarily in two areas, Outer Mongolia and Inner Mongolia. Ujimqin Banner is located in the northeastern part of Xilingol League. This name, Ujimqin, means those who gather fruit. This banner has a population of about 50,000, of which 70% is Mongol. About 33,000 of them are still leading a nomadic life which possesses many traditional elements. This family is moving in July. All the family's belongings have been put into these ox carts, including the family yurt, as they move to new pastures. The men of the family are away, herding the animals to new pastures, while the women lead the carts. When it becomes necessary, one woman can take 20 to 30 carts. The carts are linked together with rope to make things easier. But if the route is rough and difficult going, then the carts must be disconnected and taken one by one over the difficult ground. Though some herdsmen have built houses, and more are being built every year, this family lives in a yurt all the year. The yurt top opening provides light and also a means for smoke to escape. The yurt walls are called hana and are separate and collapsible frames of interlocking bars of wood. The door of the yurt always faces southeast for light and protection against northern winds. The size of the yurt depends on the number of hana it has. Usually an ordinary family yurt has about 6 hana. Because it is light and collapsible, the yurt is easily movable and ideally designed for nomadic life. Most Mongols in this area have no beds in their yurts, as they are troublesome to transport. Instead, pieces of wood are used to build a wooden platform, which is then covered with felt and carpet, which serves as a sleeping platform. Felt, made from wool, covers the sides and top of the yurt. The yurt is very easily taken apart and put back together. Dismantling and reassembling takes only about 1 hour. In this area, nearly every family has a small red bag filled with animal hair suspended from the yurt ceiling. The head of the family explains why.
We believe that the animals are our happiness, so when we sell animals, we take one hair from each animal. This way we can keep the happiness these animals bring without letting it go. Then we put the hair inside the small bags and hang them in the yurt.
This custom emphasizes the great importance animals have for the herdsman, as they provide the herdsmen not only with their basic food, but also with their income. This family has more than 300 sheep and goats, about 6 cattle, and 30 horses. Last year, their income was about 10,000 Chinese dollars. Sheep are very important since they provide mutton, which is a basic food, hides, which, with the wool left on, provide warm winter clothing, and also wool. Wool is necessary for the felt, which covers the yurt and also is an important source of income. Mutton is a mainstay in their diet and is eaten year-round. It is eaten by itself or with noodles and sometimes in dumplings. Sheep are killed in a special way, dictated by necessity and tradition. The sheep is turned on its back because it will struggle less as it dies. And then the chest of the sheep is slit. A hand is then thrust inside, searching for the main artery leading to the heart. After locating it, the herdsman breaks it and withdraws his hand. After the sheep has bled to death internally, it's dressed out. The reason for killing the sheep this way is to preserve the blood, which will collect in the chest area of the sheep, where it can be easily collected and poured into cleaned intestines, boiled, and served as blood sausage. Killing sheep in this manner is a basic skill that all herdsmen must know. It has taken only 35 minutes from start to finish for this sheep. Now, Medikma, mother of the family, is filling the intestines with a mixture of the sheep's blood, flour, and onion, which will then be cooked with the meat. When the mutton is cooked on a large cooking pot, only salt is added, and the herdsmen think it is not good to overcook the mutton because it will destroy the flavor. The herdsmen also advise drinking milk tea with the mutton as a way of counteracting the effects of animal fat. Mongolian knives are an important tool in their lives. Not only are they used in butchering sheep, but also in eating the mutton. No matter what size or shape, a mutton bone is scraped clean of every last bit of meat in a matter of minutes. Not all the meat has been cooked. Some is cut into pieces and will then be dried for later use. It's first floured to keep flies away, and then hung inside the yurt to dry. This meat is later boiled with noodles. Cattle are another very important animal for the herdsmen, not so much for their meat, but for their milk and use as draft animals. Also, cattle dung is an important fuel on the grassland. The cooking and heating is all done over a dung-fueled fire. It has many advantages. It is light and easy to transport. It ignites easily, and it gives off much heat. Also, it is the only source of fuel easily available to the herdsmen. Most of the responsibility of collecting dung falls to the women. Pasture is one basic necessity for the herdsman, and water is another. Water is often a problem in this region. In summer, a shallow well may be used for a water supply for both people and animals. In wintertime, things are different. During the frozen winter months, the wells and shallow lakes freeze hard, so the animals must eat the snow, and the herding people must collect and then boil snow for their water. Water is precious. Even in summer, when water may be plentiful, it is still carefully conserved. Wasting anything that might have later use is regarded as a moral violation. Milk tea is made from tea chopped off large blocks that contain roots, stems, and leaves. It's more than just a beverage. It is also considered to be a food. It quenches the thirst and also hunger pangs. Only on very special occasions is water ever drunk. The youngest daughter is grinding salt, which is added. And then milk. Sometimes butter is also added. And before boiling, some people roast millet in the pot to give a grain flavor to the tea. Madikba tells us about what she does every day.
I get up every day at about 4 a.m. and go out to milk. And then we begin to make milk tea. After the men are gone out herding, we begin to do various kinds of housework. We usually go to bed about 11 or 12 o'clock every night.
They must milk the cows twice a day, once in the morning and once again in the evening. This is hard work, for the cattle are far from tame. Milking can easily turn into a small rodeo. First, the womenfolk let the calf nurse its mother, then quickly separate the calf, but tie the calf so that the mother can see it. Then they begin to milk the cow. They believe that if the mother can see the calf as she is being milked, she will be calmer. Milk products are another basic food for the family. Fresh milk is rarely consumed as such. It is added to milk tea and used to make a number of different milk products, including cream, several kinds of cheese, butter, and kumis, or milk liquor. The fresh milk goes through several stages. First, the layer of cream is removed by putting the fresh milk into a pot, bringing it to a boil, and then ladling. This ladling creates bubbles on the surface, and as the ladling continues, the bubbles become thicker and thicker, and then the cream is removed and can be eaten. Then the remaining milk is placed in a churn, something every American farm family of another generation was only too familiar with. This is hard work. Probably one batch of milk has to be churned about 1,200 times before the butter will separate. Fresh butter is then removed from the top layer. The remaining sour milk is used to make milk liquor. Sour milk from the churn is poured into the cooking pot and brought to a boil. An iron ring is placed on top, which is then covered with another pot. Cold water is constantly added, making a simple condenser. The condensed steam drips into a small pot inside. This kumis is about 45% alcohol. Drinking alcohol is popular with the herdsmen. No party would be complete without it. It's particularly valued in the wintertime, as a few toddies are thought to be just the thing to protect against the cold. After the liquor has been made, the remaining milk is intended for cheese. The milk is poured into a cloth bag, and the liquid is pressed out. The liquid pressed out of the solids is not thrown away, but is used to tan animal hides and as dog food. When the remaining solids harden, the cheese is placed on the yurt top to further harden and dry, and is then ready for eating. Wind is a valuable resource in the grasslands. It has only recently been harnessed by small portable windmills to generate electricity. This electricity can power many appliances. Today, the life of the herdsman is still very self-sufficient. To the greatest extent possible, most families make as many of their necessities as they can. They don't like to buy something if they can make it themselves. For example, it's easy to buy rope, but they prefer to make rope from animal hair themselves, and then use this rope for securing the felt to the yurt. Play is the nature of all children, and grassland children are no exception. After finishing their chores, they cluster under the ox carts and imagine they are a family. This boy was excluded from the family. The other children wouldn't let him join. So he's anxiously peering in from behind the cart at the small family. Clothes making is the duty of women. Several weeks may be required to make one Mongolian robe, especially if it is to be one that has the rich decoration characteristic of the Ujimqin Mongols. Thimbles go onto the first finger, and the needle is pulled to the seamstress, not away from her. Because the nomads are often on horseback, herding their animals from place to place, the clothing is designed with this in mind. It is loose and long, and thus doesn't restrict the rider. At the same time, it keeps the legs warm. In addition, the tunic may be used as a quilt. And in the vast grassland, where there are few, if any, natural screens when nature makes its call, it provides a welcome measure of privacy. The sash that goes with the tunic is not only a decoration, but protects the abdomen when riding and makes a giant pouch out of the front of the tunic. The horse is the most famous symbol of Mongolian nationality. Not only does the horse give invaluable transportation for the herding work, but it's a companion as well. If you can't ride, the Mongols wonder if you're really a man. Usually at the age of 3 or 4, children learn how to ride, and the women can ride as well as the men. Breaking the horse to the saddle is another duty associated with the herding work. Strength and courage are two qualities essential for horse breaking, as the horse is handled physically without the benefit of corrals and pens. A catch pole, not a lasso, is used to catch individual animals when necessary. It is by itself not very strong, being made of wood, several pieces of bamboo, and a strip of cattle leather. It takes considerable skill not to break the catch pole when it is used on galloping horses. Not only is the horse celebrated in Mongol poetry and song, but the horse is thought to be very close to man emotionally. The Mongols have not forgotten that it was on the back of horses that they swept out of Central Asia to conquer much of the known world in the 13th century, carving out the largest empire the world has yet seen. Every year when summer comes, something happens on the grassland among the herding people. It's a Nadam, a fair. In the 13th century, the Mongols were a host of warring nomadic tribes brought together under the central leadership of the great Khans. They held meetings every summer, probably to make arrangements concerning the pastures and also to celebrate their harvest of animals. They recognized the importance of 3 skills: horse racing, wrestling, and archery. And so the Nadam was born. What we're seeing today is a big Nadam held in July of 1986 in East Ujimqin Banner. These are wrestlers. Of all the activities at the Nadam, wrestling is probably the most popular.
It may have grown out of the need for men to be able to handle livestock, particularly horses, with only their bare hands. It became important, therefore, that men be strong and skillful, and Mongolian wrestling is a test of those two abilities. In a wrestling match, anyone may enter his name and take part in the competition. The rules of Mongolian wrestling are quite simple. You must throw your opponent down, and some part of his body at the knee or below must touch the ground. But you must not touch your opponent below the waist. Kicking your opponent's booted foot is allowed. There is no time limit to matches, and there are no weight divisions. The upper part of the wrestler's costume is made of leather adorned with many metal discs. Some of the wrestling vests here are adorned with silver discs, the property of various communes and brigades. Also distinctive of Mongolian wrestling is a dance imitating various wild animals and eagles. Some wrestlers wear a colorful necklace of many strips of cloth. This is called a jinga. Not everyone can wear a jinga. It's a symbol of championship, and it must be given under the supervision of the Banner Athletic Committee. Jinga is usually made of 5 colors of cloth, each representing one natural object of the same color. Red represents the sun, blue the sky, white symbolizes clouds, green represents the color of grass, and yellow is symbolic of the earth. If wrestling is the most popular Nadam event, then horse racing is surely second. There are usually several different horse races. This Nadam has 4. This race is for a distance of 30 kilometers, and no saddles are allowed. Though there is no weight limit, nearly all the riders are children, both boys and girls, and some are no more than 6 years old, simply because their weight is less. The Mongolian horses may seem somewhat small in size, but they are renowned for their endurance and toughness. It has taken more than 1 hour for the winner to cross the finish line. Parents and relatives wait at the finish line to offer a helping hand to the young jockeys and slowly bring the race horses to a walk. This boy is the winner. All the racers receive a prize. Not only is the Nadam a sports meeting, it is also a large commercial fair. Many shops operated by various communes and the banner, side by side, surround the sports ground. It gives people a chance to buy things that are otherwise difficult to find. Everything from tunic material to field glasses is available. These two young men are taking this special opportunity to have a picture together in front of this beautiful park. Later, after the Nadam, we visit the yurt of Xilingol, the second place winner of the wrestling competition.
I'm 33 this year. I began wrestling at an early age and first wrestled in competition when I was 19. I don't remember how many times I've wrestled in competition, but many times. I've also lost count how many times I've won, but also many times. Every time I took part in some competition, I won some prize. Everyone on the grassland likes wrestling. It comes from the past, from history. I like it. I also like breaking horses, horse racing, and chess. There are 6 people in my family. I have 1 daughter, 3 sons, and then there is me and my wife. The people that are most respected on the grasslands are those who take good care of their animals. And also in the spring, it's easy for our pastures to catch fire. Sometimes this brings serious disaster. People who die fighting the fires are very much respected. And in winter, there are often big snows, and those who die in the snow, taking care of their animals, are also much respected. Wrestlers are not the most respected people on the grasslands. We very much hate the thief and people who don't take good care of their animals and just move from one place to another idly and aimlessly. For this Nadam competition, I won 1 horse with a saddle decorated with silver, a pair of boots, several blankets, some basins, and so on. The value of all of this is about 3,000 Chinese dollars.
One notable characteristic of Mongolian culture is the music. The grassland, a son's love for his mother, a good horse, all are subjects celebrated in Mongolian folk music. The horsehead fiddle is one of the most popular musical instruments on the grassland. It's a 2-stringed instrument. Sula Job is 57 and is well known in this area as a folk artist. He has made many horsehead fiddles, including the one he is now playing. These wooden carvings are also his.
I began to make horse-head fiddles in 1965. It's not my profession, and I don't do it very often. Usually, when someone asks me, then I'll make one for them. Altogether, I've made more than 20 horse-head fiddles. I stopped making them during the Cultural Revolution, but started again in 1979. I had no teacher, I just learned by myself. All of my horse-head fiddles are different, no two are the same. I make them just according to how I feel. Also, when I'm not busy, I make some wooden toys for children. I also paint. I learned these things by myself. That's all, nothing special. I do it just for fun. Now I'm getting older and I don't have so much control of my hands, so I seldom make things now.
Wherever Sulajab goes, he is recognized as an artist, and people respect him. These neighbors are presenting him with a silver bowl of liquor. He chants a blessing, wishing them happiness and good luck in life. The marriage customs of the herding Mongols are a striking reflection of their herding way of life. This is the bride, Toya. She is 21. The weddings here generally last one day and one night. Before the wedding is held, both families gather their relatives and friends and set up several yurts to make preparations. Weddings begin in the afternoon. At this time, relatives and friends of the bride and groom gather at the bride's home. The celebration continues until the next morning, when the groom comes to meet the bride. After the groom's arrival, half a day will be spent on various formalities and ceremonies. At about noon, the groom takes the bride to his own home for another set of rituals. Far from being rigidly structured, serious affairs, grassland weddings are times for friends and relatives to get together and visit, and drinking and singing are the key activities. The men are gathered in the main yurt drinking. Being drunk is considered to be something more humorous than something to be ashamed of. By midnight, the women and children are asleep, while the men are still drinking and singing. The next morning, the bride stands in front of the yurt with her relatives and friends, waiting for the groom to come. What is she thinking as her husband-to-be comes galloping across the horizon? The young man in the center of the group is the groom. Doug is 24. After entering the yurt, Doug sits behind the others, listening to songs. At this moment, the bride is hiding somewhere. The groom then begins to present gifts to relatives and friends of the bride's family. In this basin are the head, neck, and leg of a sheep. On top of the sheep's head is some cream. The groom offers each guest a taste of the cream, which symbolizes his promise not to mistreat the bride. In the past, the groom was given a boiled sheep neck, which he should break to prove his strength. Today, this custom is observed more in form than in actuality. Putting a part of the sheep's leg with the joint attached into the groom's boot is also customary. This is a blessing, wishing that Doug and his animals will prosper. The leg joint has 4 sides, and each side represents one animal: cattle, horses, sheep, and goats. Inside the groom's boot, it will bring him rich herds and happiness. The bride's mother also takes a taste of the cream. After all the ceremonies have been completed, it's time for the bride to go with her groom to his home. Many people go to the groom's home, but the bride's father does not do so. In the past, the bride would sit on a cart, which would be led by several people, with her mother on horseback at the lead. Today, the bride and her mother go by truck. The others will have a horse race to the groom's home. The bride's family has provided many gifts for their daughter's new home. Suitcases, felt, blankets, clothes, grain, furniture all go inside a cart which is sent to the groom's home. The dowry cart is taken to the main yurt where it is unpacked by the bride's sisters. After entering the new yurt, the bride's hair is combed by a person appointed by the groom's parents. This symbolizes that the bride is now a part of the groom's family. The person braiding the bride's hair has become the bride's godmother. Next, a representative of the groom would, in the past, say a blessing to the bride's mother. Now, a cassette tape is used. The representative then presents a bowl of fresh milk to the bride's mother as compensation for the fact that she gave birth and the milk of her breast to the bride. The bride's mother first takes a sip, and then the bride and groom take a sip, and the bowl is returned to the mother. The mother of the groom now presents gifts to each guest. Everyone who attends the wedding should bring a gift to the new couple. So what has really happened is an exchange of gifts. The value of gifts given and received is just about the same. Dull tells about Toya.
We live in the same commune and knew each other before. One day, through my uncle, who was acting as matchmaker, I went to her home to be examined as a prospective son-in-law by her father. He said if we wished to marry each other, he had no objections. Then I took Toya outside of the yurt and proposed marriage. She said she would have to give it more thought. A month later, my uncle went to her home again and came back and said she had agreed. I hope our first child is a boy because men are the main labor force.
Customarily, if the first child is a boy, there will be a big birthday party at the age of 1 year. On that day, many relatives and friends will be invited, and a sheep will be killed for the celebration. If the child is a girl, there is no such celebration. Death as well as new life. This is a place where the dead are left. Bodies may be buried and cremated. In this area, herdsmen prefer to leave the bodies of family members in the open. Today, bodies are still left in the open, but some of the rituals surrounding death have changed. In the past, after 1 week, the body would be inspected. If it had not been torn and eaten by wild animals, it was considered a bad omen. If the body is torn, then it's a good omen, indicating that the soul is heaven-bound. Lamas might be asked to come and chant to deal with any misfortune. Religion has had a powerful impact on Mongol history. The Mongols were at first shamanistic, but in the early Yen dynasty in the 13th century, high-ranking Mongols adopted a branch of Buddhism commonly called Lamaism. The common herding people, though, were still basically shamanistic. After the 16th century, many high-ranking Mongols began to accept Lamaism, and the religion quickly spread among the Mongols. Many temples were constructed in Xilingol League. There were several thousand. Nearly every family sent at least one son to a temple to become a lama. The effect of the religion on economic and political life was profound. Ortnost is 75 and became a lama when he was 13. He did so because his brother was forcing him to marry, and the temple life promised an escape. He was a lama in a temple in this commune prior to the Cultural Revolution, when the temple was destroyed. Though today he is old and weak, he is determined to re-establish that temple. His influence is limited, and he has had little success. But nonetheless, every day he lives as in years past. At times he is asked by herdsmen to chant for the dead, and he usually agrees. In the morning, after he rises, he lights candles and incense and places food in front of the Buddha image and then begins his chanting. When he chants for the dead, he asks the heavenly deities to provide a more favorable reincarnation for the soul in the next life.